So we want to talk a little bit about women's health and pine pollen. One of the main questions we get from our female clients is, considering that there's phytoandrogens in pine pollen, could it be a suitable product to me, and why should I be taking it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think with all herbal products, I like to tell my patients that there's this instinct and this intuition that our body has in the way that it reacts and accepts natural products. So what we're finding is that the fact that that the pine pollen has these pro-androgenic properties, phytoandrogenic properties, when women reach that premenopausal stage, that menopausal stage, and then that postmenopausal stage, they need a lot of support from what we're finding for testosterone, sometimes estrogen and progesterone. And I always try to find natural ways that I can help support them through that time without reaching for bioidentical hormones if we don't need to. So what's great about pine pollen is that we know its interaction in the body in that it stimulates production of DHEA and testosterone. So it's a really great way to, even with a low dose, to achieve those numbers and those values. So when sometimes we run labs, sometimes we just, based on the conversation we have with that patient in office, their symptoms, it's great for not only athletic performance, but also energy and stamina, which is what we find women in that age range are looking for. So it's just a really great way, a really great option, especially since other herbal products that I usually use are more pro-estrogen or pro-progesterone. So this is just a really great way to have a very specific product for increasing testosterone and DHEA, which is really great in these patients.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you look at, if I was to add a little bit to that, I would say, like if you look at the powder itself, it applies to all demographics. We don't even question whether it's a man or a female. It's something that boosts your nutrient, boosts your food. But when it comes to tincture, that's where the question comes in. One of the things that happens in menopause is if you're looking at and following individuals' hormones, the first thing that drops down is actually the androgens, the testosterone, before that leads into, because of its regulation of progesterone and estrogen,
right, that's right,
to a decline
it converts
in
to estrogen and progesterone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the receptor sites that regulates your sense of temperature and the hot flashes, those are all regulated by the androgens, by the testosterone and DHEA. So a little bit of DHEA and testosterone goes a long way, especially because that little the testosterone and DHEA are definitely limiting factor in the female body. So if something is required less and you just support that process, you're going to see much more improvements in those population.
How quickly can you expect someone to have a desirable outcome or effect after they start the tinctures?
The tincture is the one that's, it's a quick reaction. It's if it's going to work for you within 2 weeks, a maximum 3 weeks of time,
improving
you're going to
energy.
see, especially if that decline of energy is associated with aging.
Exactly.
And if the person doesn't have other conflicting factors, right? One of the things that leads into decline in androgens is lack of sleep. So you can't expect to go 5 hours sleep day in, day out and take a supplement and boom, my androgens.
It's the same thing with everything, right? Like if the rest of your lifestyle is not being supported, then it's not just like a one thing fixes all. And I think that what's really important to also consider is that the alternatives are testosterone injections and creams. Am I right?
Yeah.
So it can get quite uncomfortable for people to inject themselves with testosterone, or even when they put on creams, it can actually, rub off on their children or their partner, which is an undesirable side effect or a con as well. So this is really great.
And obviously, once you go on that prescription solution, then you're hooked on that. Because it slows down, it tells your brain to, hey, make less. We are getting plenty of that.
Right, especially because I have a lot of trouble actually weaning my menopausal to post-menopausal women off of testosterone, because after a certain amount of time, you need to wean people off. You can't have them on these hormones forever. And once they start to come off, that's when they're just like, why do I have to come off again? I want to stay on. This is making me feel really good. So this is a really nice natural alternative for that.
To wean that off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you got any other questions, if you want to know more about pine pollen, its impact in males, females, how do you take it? When is the best time? Which one? Which product? Which species? Check us out online, CanadianPinePollen.com. We got a YouTube channel and we got awesome blogs for you to answer any questions you have.
Cool. So I'll just get out of here.